Hello, I'm Dr. Lisa Polivoy, and today I will be interviewing the mother of two patients of mine. She brought her children in to see me for NAET treatments for food allergies. What's interesting to note is that allergies can affect a person not only physically, like with digestive issues or getting congested, but also mentally and emotionally, causing them to be angry or to throw fits, or to not be able to concentrate, or to be hyper, or to break down. So here's our interview. I hope it's helpful, especially to parents who have children with allergies. So thank you for coming to the interview today. Can you describe what it was like to have your younger daughter have allergies, what allergies she had?
My younger daughter I brought when she was about 2, and at that time she had allergies to peanuts and almonds, cashews, pretty much any nut, as well as eggs, dairy, gluten, soy, and nightshades, including tomato, potato, and I think that's about it for the foods.
And how did they affect her?
Different reactions depending on the food. For some, like eggs and peanuts, she would throw up if she had them. And for others it was diarrhea, a lot of irritability, so she wasn't sleeping well at night and would just wake up crying, very difficult to console, and her mood would just fluctuate where she would just break out crying at random times during the day and would be unconsolable.
And she also had skin rashes, right?
Right, she also had a lot of eczema, especially from the nuts. She would get eczema and eggs, and I was also breastfeeding her at the time, so anything I ate also affected her.
Will you explain the NAET process for your younger daughter?
So for her, I had to act as a surrogate, which basically meant that I held her hand during the treatments, and all of the muscle testing would be done through me. So I would hold the substance in one hand and see if she was weak or not to it.
And how was she during the treatments?
In the beginning, she was very reluctant and felt that she didn't want to be here and cried. But over time, she relaxed, and we had to work with it to see how she could hold the substance. If it was in her sock instead of in her hands, that worked out, and we had to make adjustments. But now she enjoys coming and has, I think, really warmed to the process and sees the difference, because I kept telling her, you know, this is to help you to eat more and to feel better, so I think that also helped along the way.
And how was the 25-hour avoidance period when you left?
That was tough. I think, especially in the beginning, for a child who's 2, it's really hard to explain you can't eat this food even though you want it so much, and there were definitely tears, and it was hard for me to be strong enough to say, no, you can't have it, but we made it through it, and I kept telling myself it's only one day, and next day we'll be back to normal.
How did you prepare for the 25-hour avoidance period?
I have the NAET handbook, and it lists all the foods you have to avoid depending on what you're being treated for, so I pretty much try to meal plan around my treatment. So if I know my schedule for what we can't eat, then just try to plan my meals around it.
And how has NAET treatments helped your younger daughter?
I think she's grown a lot in the process in terms of her age, but also her temper has changed a lot, her temperament, where she's a lot more relaxed. And I actually feel like I'm more in tune with her body, where I'm able to tell if a food has bothered her more, because those outbursts are a lot less than they were before. So she's calmer, she sleeps a lot better. She doesn't have that same irritability that she had before when she was eating those problematic foods.
And how about her eczema and skin rashes?
Her skin has cleared up. It's amazing what a difference it made. Even after one treatment, she had had a reaction to peanuts right before we treated her for peanuts the week before, and then we went in for treatment, and then 3 days later she had peanuts and there was no reaction. So it was so clear to me that it was gone after just the one treatment, and it was pretty quickly that the change happened.
And what was it like receiving treatment?
It's been great. I think that Dr. Polavoy has had, a warmth with both my kids and a way of connecting and making sure that they're comfortable and feel that they're listened to as well and engaged in the process.
And after your younger daughter's treatment, you decided to bring in your older daughter. Will you explain how old she was and the allergies she had?
So my older daughter was 5 when we started, and she's 6 now. And she has kind of similar issues, but not as much with the nuts. She's had ongoing issues with eggs, which in the beginning when she was a baby was eczema, rashes on her face, as well as intestinal bleeding and vomiting, and then gradually it became more just digestive issues, diarrhea, stomach pain, and other issues with nightshades, tomatoes, potatoes, peppers, eggplants. Those have been mostly digestive, but also mood related. So she gets very angry, irritable, also quick to cry, where her personality really changes if she has those foods, and just becomes very combative and challenging at home.
And what was it like for her to receive NAET treatments?
Well, for her, I think she was pretty motivated because she had seen her younger sister doing the treatments and was kind of jealous that she was able to eat other foods now. So she had that motivation, but it was still tough for her. I think the avoidance period was challenging for her, but we made a commitment, as much as I could with a 5-year-old, that this was something we were going to stick with, and that it would be tough, but we were going to do it, and she agreed. So I would keep reminding her that it's something that we agreed on.
Overall, would you say it's been worth it?
For us, it's definitely been worth it. I think our quality of life has improved. My youngest daughter was really challenging as a child, and not being able to pinpoint also all the issues that were going on with her was really challenging. And so I feel like once the healing started to take place, then everybody became happier, and now they can eat so much more. It's easier for me to cook, and I don't have to worry so much about them being in pain or waiting for the next reaction to happen, and so much of the mood fluctuations. But I think we're all just happier and having a more balanced life.
And last question, would you recommend NAET for other parents, and what advice would you give them?
I would definitely recommend it. I think that you have to know that it's a time commitment, and that the first 15 sessions are all boosting the system for vitamins and minerals. So you don't actually start with whatever problematic foods or that you're looking to treat. So that's the main thing. I think I didn't quite realize as much when we started how much we would have to boost in the beginning. Vitamin C and sodium and a lot of other things. So you have to avoid those foods for 25 hours, which can be tough. But I think that in the long run, it's worth it to try. And I knew that coming into this, there was no guarantee that any of these things would work. And for me, it was kind of a test of faith. But I feel like kids especially are the best kind of test for a placebo effect. And they're not going to lie. They didn't know what was going on, but it worked for them. So I'm pretty confident that it's working for us. And I think that if anybody has similar struggles, that it's worth at least a shot. And if it doesn't work, then at least you tried. But for us, it did.
One last question that I didn't ask, which was, what's it like for your older daughter, who's now 6, to be able to eat like French fries with ketchup, something she could never have before?
Yeah, for my older daughter, I think she's handled her food intolerances pretty well, but now she's getting older, it's hard to see other kids who are, having something so simple as a pizza or French fries and ketchup, which she hadn't eaten in years. And it's huge for her, and I think she feels more like socially accepted, and she talks to her friends and say, guess what, I had catch up, and it's huge. So I think that it doesn't cause her to have to grow up so quickly and to deal with such big issues so quick, and to feel a lot happier.